thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to the Johnstone River Community Garden and attending one of the Cassowary Coast Council's co-sponsored composting workshops. Composting. A lot of people go, oh, yucky, stinky, yucky poo, don't really want to get involved. It's really sort of straightforward. We've got our compost bins here, and in the whole spirit of National Recycling Week, which is coming up, therefore the reason for our zero waste weekend and zero waste picnic, repurposing an old bath and an old fridge. We're still working on the fridge. We've just made it pretty by reusing some pine pallets from John Cole Toyota. The mystery of a compost bin is basically cut away into one we prepared earlier. And this is how the compost bins essentially sort of work. You've got your older material down the bottom, and these little red things are actually the worms. And you put your material in. Worms don't have mouths, all right? They eat the bacteria and microbes that are around the organic material that you put into your compost bin or worm farm. So the healthier and the more diverse the microbes that you have in your material, the quicker it'll be turned from vegetables and scraps into really lovely material. I'll just show you some of the material that can go into your compost bin. Keep in mind, work on green and brown. Okay, green material is the one that is closest to have been alive. Your kitchen scraps, your bonus clippings and trimmings from around the garden. That's high in nitrogen, and that's what is the agitator for the breakdown of the compost and the composting process. The other is the brown, and that's very important as well. Your brown leaves are the easy thing, and also that's dead material. Okay, shredded paper equals brown material. And work on a mix of 1 to 1.5. People always say, oh, my compost is stinky. Chances are you're just throwing your kitchen scraps in, and in, and in, and in. And you're not getting that mix of material, you're not getting that brown. So you need 1.5 times the amount of brown material that you put in, but we need that balance, okay? 1 to 1.5. So that's half full. I'd be putting it into our working sort of compost bin here. All very easy. Excellent. And then to mix with that, got this really excellent shredded paper. It's not just the spaghetti shreds, it's the confetti shreds. And that works really well. So likewise, I'm just sort of working on handful process. That amount was pretty much just 1 handful, and just scatter that in over the top. Again, that same amount plus the half again. One of the greatest toys you can have, because you'll be enjoying your composting so much that you'll go out and from one of your local or supported hardware stores in town is I'm calling it a Compost Corkscrew. Greatest fun you can have in your own backyard. Basically, this is to assist in the aeration of your compost. Again, coming back to people saying, oh, compost is stinky and blah, blah, blah. Suggested problem is you haven't got enough of that brown material in there, right, from the get-go. Another one is that to have an active system, you actually need, remember before I was saying about the bacteria that's in there, and that's what the worms eat, not the actual food. Wind your corkscrew down into your compost bay, and you just give that a little bit of a tug, and up she comes, and that just gives it a slight mix to rotate through. And we've got critters in here. That's also good because they're what you find in nature, right? In your humus layer, in your ecosystems. So once you've got your material in there, give it a little bit of a drink. Always keep your material moist. And lob the lid back on, because heat is an activator with that as well. Your compost bins pretty much come in 2 styles of basically with or without a trapdoor. And we might just leave this open so that You can have a little bit of a look later. That's what you're trying to achieve, all right? And you can see the material and the worms that we've got jiggling around in there. That smells like dirt. It doesn't smell yucky at all. Very earthy. You can have some for lunch. But that's yeah, that's the material that you that's just the goodness. To harvest your compost bins, basically we'll let that sort of sit down. It will break down the material, both the brown and the green that you've been putting in there. And then once it's about 6 to 8 weeks, just lift that whole bay off, okay, and put it adjacent to it, and you can start again. And then as you're digging the material out to start a compost bin, the really handy thing is to use the material that you've got from a compost bin that's already got the microbes, it's already got the bacteria, it's the seed, right, to start your process. Just one shovel and put that at the bottom of your new bin, your new empty bin, and then basically layer your material on. Put it in an area. The sun is good but not necessary to get the heat. As I say, the material breaking down will transfer its energy and build up heat. And then just start layering your material on. Just start with your kitchen scraps and just look at it and sort of go, yeah, I need at least the same amount or half again of that brown material. When the lawn's mowed, just chuck all that straight in. Worms are in the soil, okay? You can, what we've done is we've prepared some earlier. We've prepared a booster box from Bunnings, 500 or 1,000 worms, and that basically just comes in a starter kit. You can see these worms are the red or tiger worms, they're called. Very different. They're skinny and not very big, about an inch or so long. It's a magic investment as a starter for your process. Very good. So if anyone had any questions, please, before you go, grab one of the council's composting pamphlets. As I say, there's some really handy information there. But thank you for taking the time today. Who would have thought Bernard could yarn on for that long? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a cool drink, and we've got lunch on shortly, and we'll go for a garden tour and talk about some of the things that we've got growing here in the garden.